Did you know that thousands of people were kept as slaves for 2 whole years after they were legally free? It is one of the biggest secrets in American history that finally came to light on June 19th, 1865. Today we are talking about Juneteenth. It is not just another day off or a time for a backyard barbecue. It is a day that represents a massive turning point in the fight for freedom. If you have ever wondered why this holiday is suddenly all over your calendar, or why it took so long for the news of freedom to reach everyone, I have the answers for you. We are going to look at what really happened in Galveston, Texas, and why the delay matters even more than the announcement itself. To understand Juneteenth, we have to go back to 1863. That is when President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This was the famous document that technically ended slavery in the states that were fighting against the North. But back then, there was no internet, no cell phones, and no quick way to spread the word. Because the Civil War was still going on, many people in the South just ignored the law. They kept people in chains and forced them to work for zero pay as if nothing had changed. The biggest problem was Texas. It was the most remote state in the South. Because there were not many Union soldiers there to make people follow the new law, slave owners just kept quiet. They wanted one last harvest and one more year of free labor. They were willing to lie to keep it that way. For 2.5 years after Lincoln's big speech, over 250,000 black men, women, and children in Texas were still being treated as property. They had no idea they were already legally free. Imagine you win a huge prize or a legal battle, but nobody tells you for years. That is exactly what happened until June 19th, 1865. On that day, a man named General Gordon Granger marched into Galveston, Texas, with 2,000 federal troops. He stood on a balcony and read General Order Number 3. It told everyone that all slaves were now free and that they would have absolute equality of rights. The reaction was a mix of total shock and pure joy. Some people stayed to figure out their next moves, but many others left immediately. They wanted to find family members who had been sold away years before. This moment in Galveston is why we call it Juneteenth, which is just a mix of the words June and 19th. It was the first time freedom actually felt real for everyone in the country, even though there was still a very long road ahead. Today, Juneteenth is a federal holiday. We celebrate it with big parades, music, and red food like red velvet cake and strawberry soda. The red color is a symbol of the strength and resilience of the people who survived those hard times. It is a day to remember that freedom is something people had to fight for, and sometimes they had to wait much too long to get it. It reminds us that justice should never be delayed. It is a celebration of the human spirit and the fact that the truth eventually comes out.